Today I'm going to do a meatball, a Calabrian style meatball based on ingredients that I think come out of Calabria region of Italy. And I started out with these breadcrumbs, which I took out of Italian bread right here, cut off the edges and scooped in about 2 cups, no crust. See here I cut the crust off, and some of the inside bread had to be picked off. But I got about 2 cups and 6 tablespoons of milk. So I let that soak. It's been soaking about 7 minutes or so. Here I have 3 cloves of garlic and about 5 tablespoons of chopped parsley and about 3/4 of a cup of Romano cheese, pecorino. Now in Calabria, they have their own Romano cheese, and I've never tried it, never had it, but this is a good brand. This is what we get around here, Locatelli. It's probably in a lot of supermarkets, and you've probably seen it before. I noticed that they use Romano more than they do Parmesan, so that's why I went with just strictly Romano cheese. And they also have a lot of pork products, different kinds of pork products. I wasn't gonna duplicate all of those, but what I did was, I'm not using beef today, so I'm using all pork, ground pork. Now what I want to say about this is, right now I don't have access to the butcher, but what I would like to do is see the edges down here, how they're kind of strand and loose. Well, when they pack them in the supermarket, they already pack your meatball. And when you make a meatball, you kind of want to fold it gently. You want the air in there, because if you have a dense meatball, they're going to be tough and dense. So if you can get to the butcher, if you care that much about a meatball, that's what I would do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking, this is Calabrian chili, hot chili crushed peppers. One of my favorite condiments, and I use it in different things with fresh mozzarella and whatever I can think of. So here I'm going to take 2 tablespoons about of this. That's a generous one. And I'm going to add that to that mixture. And that 2 tablespoons was for about 2 pounds of pork. 1 tablespoon per pound. It's a little bit over because that's the way the packages came. I'm only going to be using 2 eggs. Okay? Now, I'm going to add all this in there. And that's all going to be mixed up after I put the 2 eggs in there. What I'm also adding to this mixture is some red onion. Now, Calabria region's known for a red onion that's long and sweet. Topeia, it's called. And they're probably shaped like this. They're not very big, and they're probably 3 to 5 times as sweet as a real red onion. People have been known to just take a bite out of it. It's used in salads, it's used in frittatas, it's used in pretty much whatever they can think of. So I decided to use red onion. And what onion does for a meatball is it makes it extra moist. It gives it not only a little added flavor, you won't know it's there, it kind of melts into the meatball and gives off some extra moisture. And I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup after I grate that, the rest of that. And you can see right here, this is a pulp. I use the large holes. And once I get about 3/4 of a cup, that's going to go in there with the eggs. I'm going to stir it all up. And this is going to go into this bowl, which I already salt and peppered the bottom a little bit, and I add the meat. It's just kind of the way I do things. And then what I will do is I imagine in my own head, how much more salt and pepper do I need on top to make that taste good? That's the way I do it. I'll put some salt, more pepper. Try not to overdo the, too much. And then when it's all together, I will fry, or once in a while take the shortcut, put it in the microwave. Little meatballs from each area, test for seasoning, and then if I think it needs more salt or pepper, I will add it. So that's it. I'm going to start to put the meatballs together and talk to you in a bit. Since you're still with me, I'm going to show you a couple tips. If you've ever had to peel garlic, it's pretty hard to peel. Quite often we put it on a cutting board and we use this technique to smash it open and peel it. I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do it. I'm going to drop this into a little bit of hot water right there. Hopefully I have enough time to show you. Over here we have parchment paper. And what we're going to do is bake the meatballs today. Once again, another time I will talk about frying versus baking and the advantages and which one I like better. But for now, we're going to bake them again today. I'm going to do it a little bit different than the last meatball I made. They're going to be a little smaller. And I'm going to go about 450 degrees for about 8 minutes. And then about 18 minutes, I will do it at 350. Parchment paper, what that does, for obvious reasons, it'll keep the pan nice and clean. So when you go to clean up the pan afterwards, or whoever does your cleaning will appreciate the fact that you have parchment paper, because it won't get messy, it won't burn to the bottom of the pan. Now see how the parchment paper is curling up? It could end up curling over. So if you're new to parchment paper, I turn it over like that. So now it's curling under. I put this in like that, and then build my meatballs. Now I just want to show you what I've done here with the meatballs. You can see they're a nice color. They got a little bit of peppers going on, and the ingredients that I had here earlier. This is the meatball made, and I'm getting ready to make them right now. So it's been about a minute since the garlic clove was in the water here, and just picking it up, you can just see the magic of it peeling off. Okay, they came out of the oven. I cooked them actually 450 for 10 minutes and 350 for 18 minutes. I didn't like the looks of the top, so I broiled them for 4 minutes to get a little color. At least I'm being honest with you. It didn't all come from the oven. It depends on your oven. If you have a convection oven and it circles the heat, you can get that kind of look without broiling them. So I broke open a meatball, and it's actually quite juicy and moist in there. And, you know, it tastes really good. Next, it goes in the sauce. Probably 45 minutes. We'll see. Hi, this is an update on the Calabrian meatball that I just did. Actually did it like a few weeks ago and wanted to make this video before I posted it. I found that putting the meatballs in the sauce made the sauce flavored of the hot Calabrian peppers that were in there. The first meatballs that I ate that came right out of the pan, or out of the oven, were fantastic. I'm a firm believer in eating the meatballs. In fact, since I was 11 years old, I would eat meatballs that came out of the fry pan. Like if my mom made 20, I ate 10 before they even hit the sauce. So I just love the meatballs before they get saturated in the sauce. Anyway, that's another subject. But I recommend to take, if you make this meatball, you take them out of the oven, swish them around in the sauce for a couple of minutes, or don't, and then just put the sauce on top, and that's it.